Greetings, I'm RD Fluke. I want to take a moment to thank you all for stopping by to check out my free audiobook. If you're interested in supporting my hobby, the book is available as ebook or paperback on Amazon. Link in description. Thank you. Fevered Calamity, an anthology by R.D. Fluke. Narrated by R.D. Fluke. To my incredible family who supported me throughout this endeavor, to all readers of the genre, and to all veterans who may be listening to this, thank you. Copyright 2024 Kinetic Frontline Books, all rights reserved. The characters and events portrayed in this book are fictitious. Any similarity to real persons, living or dead, is coincidental and not intended by the author. Part 1. Zulu 4. Chapter 1. Outpost Zulu 4. A gentle kick to his bunk awoke 22-year-old Ash Dallows. "Dallows, get up," said the sentry. The armed security guard then moved on to the next soldier. Across the room, another sentry woke up the oncoming shift. Dallows yawned and grabbed his boots from beneath his bed. 48 hours to go. The Korean Demilitarized Zone, or DMZ, required a rugged schedule of 2 days on duty, 1 day off with 8-hour shifts. 8 hours on security, followed by 8 more as part of the Quick Reaction Force, or QRF, then 8 hours off. This cycle repeated until every 15th day, when they'd return south for a 4-day respite before the cycle began again. The watch commander entered as Dallows was tying his laces. "You all know the drill. Grab some chow. Briefing in 30. The officer spotted Dallows and walked over. "So, Corporal Dallows," said the commander, "have you given it some thought?" He gestured at the manila folder that stuck out from under Dallows' pillow. "I'm not sure, sir," began Dallows. "This job is great, but I don't know if a career in the Army is for me. I guess I expected the Army to help me save the world, Make a difference." The commander gave a sympathetic smile. "I understand. You've got a few months to mold it over. Lord knows we could use more men like—" "Me, sir?" asked a nasally voice from the right. 2 bunks over, a private stood saluting with his shirt untucked. "Sure, Wagner," said the commander. "Last I checked, your record has enough marks on it that you're ineligible for re-enlistment." The commander frowned at the private's interruption and walked away, reminding everyone about the briefing and exiting the bay. The private snarled and sat back down. "What a dickhead," said Wagner. "You ran into that one on your own," answered Dallows, buttoning his utilities. "Let's snag a quick meal before the brief." "Nothing new," began the commander. "Charlie Sector had another runner that was shot dead by the North." "That's the second this week." "The only item I have that's worth reporting is about North Korean General Ha Jun. Unofficial reports say he defied the regime on air yesterday after they canceled his weapons program. It's safe to assume he's either dead or has a hit on his head, and things seem tense on the northern side. We need to be vigilant and follow procedures. Remember, we don't interfere with a rudder until they reach the southern border. No heroics out there. If you think you see something in your sector, confirm it with the G-Boss before calling it in." The 5th-generation ground-based observation surveillance system offered day and night viewing with incredible detail at distances of up to 10 kilometers. "If your camera can't get a clear image, we'll use our drone and go from there," said the commander. "Dallows, you've got Zulu 4 with Wagner. Your Korean partners will be Jun and Soyoung." 2 decent soldiers out of 3 ain't bad. Zulu 4 was the easternmost watchtower along the DMZ, overlooking the plains with the Sea of Japan a half-kilometer away to the east. They departed at 21:30 with their South Korean counterparts and arrived at the guard tower of Zulu 3 in under 15 minutes. The cloudy sky rendered their night vision less than optimal. The watch commander oversaw the personnel changeover before they moved on to Zulu 4. 1 click later, Dallows and his team swapped out the off-going shift. The shift's previous staff had nothing to report outside of their camera having signal issues with its computer uplink. The commander suggested Dallows restart the system and troubleshoot from there. "Questions?" asked the commander. "No, sir. We're good to go here." Dallows' team entered the tower as the patrol departed Zulu 4 at 22:15. 8 hours to go. Dallas shut the armored door to the guard tower, locking everyone inside. Atop, he found the comm system next to the camera control unit along with its dual 13-inch monitors. Besides their rifles, the space featured the Korean motive K-12 general-purpose machine gun with its American equivalent, the Sig Sauer-produced M250 medium machine gun. So-young and Wagner took their places behind their respective guns. As Dallas expected, restarting the system didn't fix the uplink issues. He muttered curses while scanning as the camera occasionally froze. Tweaking the sensitivity settings helped at first, but after a half hour, the glitch gremlin returned. "Hey Wagner, take over so I can go piss." "Sure thing, but you'll owe me." Dallas rolled his eyes and went outside to a tube in the ground that served as a pisser. He finished his business and returned inside. Upstairs, he discovered Wagner fucking off with the camera. The jackass had the viewer aimed at the female soldiers' rear ends outside their patrol base. It wasn't the first time he'd done this. Wagner once aimed a lens toward Genjin Ri's southeastern beaches. Hire was watching the feeds when they called in regarding the scantily clad ladies. The commander scolded Dallas for that one, but left it as just a warning, since he wasn't manning the system. "What the fuck, Wagner?" said Dallas. The troublemaker turned around, surprised. "Bro, chill. There's nothing to see here." "Take this shit seriously," said Dallas, annoyed. Wagner laughed off his comment. Dallas took over the controls as the radio blared. It was the commander, calling in, demanding why their feed displayed the empty lot where the females stood smoking earlier. Thank God he didn't see why. "Sorry, sir. Been trying to fix the uplink since the camera stopped responding to our controller. I'll restart the system again." Dallas started a reboot to play it off. Wagner laughed. "Do you need help getting your head out of your ass, Wagner?" asked Dallas. "Relax, Dallas. You sound like we're at war." "Technically, we are." "You're too uptight, bro. Have some fun every once in a while. You missed out last weekend. I took 2 beauties home from the fire pit." Dallas scoffed. "Fire pit? Isn't that a gay bar?" "Very funny. These ladies were real and refined." "Whatever, man. No wonder everybody says you love cock." "I got witnesses, Dallas. Everyone saw my ladies in the barracks." Dallas glared. "The same barracks we aren't supposed to bring them to? Smart move. Are you trying to get your rank busted down again? Rent a seedy hotel room like the rest of us." "Why bother? That motel money could hire me a third girl instead." Dallas rolled his eyes. "Whatever. Let me know if you see anything." "I won't. It's pitch black out there." "No shit, Sherlock. Use the thermal setting on the past 39s. "It says low battery." Dallas spoke through his teeth. "Then swap it with a fresh one." God, this moron. "I don't have any spares." Dallas clenched his fist. "What? You got 2 issued to you before we left." Wagner smacked a hand on his forehead. "Oh, I thought the commander wanted me to charge those. So I put them on a charging unit." "Are you kidding me? You've done this enough to know better." Dallas gritted his teeth and took a deep breath. All that remained was a malfunctioning camera at their disposal. "Okay, it's not that bad. We can still request a drone feed. Alright, just need to get through this shift." A tap on his left shoulder broke his thoughts. "I can spare a battery," offered Jun. "Thanks, Jun. I owe you and So-young a beer." Jun waved the comment off. "There is no need to pay it back. Just trying to help." So-young spoke up with his broken English from behind his thermal sights. "I'd take Jun beer then." Wagner yawned and announced he needed to piss. Dallas glanced in his direction and frowned. "Hold up, Wagner. Where's your rifle?" "Safe up here with you?" How did this guy pass basic training? Dallas stood up, annoyed. "Are you trying to get a dishonorable discharge? What if the commander spotted you on his camera?" Wagner groaned like a pubescent teen as he retrieved his gun. "You happy now?" he asked. Dallas sat back at his station and rubbed his temples. 8 hours left with this bag of ass. A siren blared from the northern border, and Soyoung rambled off in his native tongue. "We have a runner," translated Jun. Before Dallas could orient the camera, the first crackles of gunfire erupted from the north. Chapter 2. Defector. "How many and where?" asked Dallas. Jun was glued to his optics. Soyoung spoke up from his right. "West Tower, only one." He referred to one of 2 North Korean towers that were visible from their location. Dallas aimed the camera and focused on it, bringing it centered on the left screen. "Got it. You guys can handle this. I'm gonna piss," said Wagner. Dallas stood up and blocked the exit. "Not now. Get back on the gun and call out anything you see." "Bro, I gotta piss, man." "Hold it. We need to be ready to snatch the defector if they make it to the south. On top of that, the camera isn't reliable, so sit your ass down and help. You're welcome to piss in a bottle if it's that bad." Wagner frowned. "You're a dick, bro." More automatic fire rang from the north, but the sirens drowned the shots out. The hell is going on? "I see him," shouted Jun. "He's reaching the 600-meter line." Dallas zoomed out and found a glowing heat signature of someone running for their life. The individual sprinted at a healthy clip through no man's land. The North continued to fire and missed their target as he drew closer to the south. "He has passed the 200-meter marker," said Jun. "Should I shoot him?" asked Wagner. "What? No," blurted Dallas. He picked up the receiver to call the commander. "Zulu main, this is Zulu 4. We've got a runner 200 meters out. Dispatching snatcher team." "Roger, we copy Zulu 4. We'll dispatch a patrol your way to bring the defector in for questioning. Treat them respectfully." Dallas hung the handset and called out to Jun. "Let's go snag this guy." Wagner put his thermals down and frowned. "Why can't I come?" "Because I know you'd fuck this up somehow." "'Cause you're on the gun, and I need a translator. Stand fast. We'll be back." They exited the tower, then rounded a corner to the front. The sirens continued from the north, but the gunfire ceased. 3 stories above them, Soyoung gave directions. Dallas squinted at the open area ahead of them, but couldn't make out any details past 100 meters with his night optics. Jun pointed to his 10 o'clock. "He says 50 meters to our west. Let's hurry." They sprinted until Soyoung's voice called out for them to stop. The Korean rambled on some more before Jun translated. "Okay, the defector is running straight to us and is less than 100 meters. Both men scanned the sector with their optics. A moment later, Dallas spotted him. "On the left. He's limping pretty badly." "Yeah, I see him," said Jun. When the runner saw them, he screamed incoherently, blood spilling from a wound in his leg. The man cried out as Dallas and Jun pulled away of the concertina wire that blocked his path. The defector planted face first into the dirt of the southern side. Dallas held his weapon at the ready as Jun instructed the defector to hold still as he completed his pat-down. After finding nothing, they placed the northern man in flexing cuffs so Jun could patch up the non-life-threatening injury. After applying a field dressing, they sat the man up, let him keep his hands in front, and gave him an emergency blanket. He repeated a pattern of words over and over between body-racking shivers, but when Jun offered water, the man shut up to chug it down. The refugee dry-heaved, trying to catch his breath. Dallas tossed a pack of MRE candy to Jun, who handed them over. The man had difficulty opening the packaging and resorted to biting through the wrapper to access the contents. He devoured a chocolate snack as Jun asked basic questions, each answered with a shake of the defector's head. After eating, he returned to rambling the same phrase. "What's he saying?" asked Dallas. "He speaks so fast, and his dialect is thick. He says they are going to, and then a word I don't understand. The tat? The hell is that?" Jun shrugged. "No idea." The defector grew frustrated and groaned at the sky. Wagner called out to them. "Patrol's almost here!" The grainy silhouettes of a team appeared to the west 100 meters away. Dallas jumped when the defector sprung to his feet and pointed his hands at his tactical belt, rambling his catchphrase once again. Jun shook his head. The man from the north gestured at the belt. Dallas's upper lip twitched as he traced the man's eyes. "My canteen? Does he want more water?" Dallas pointed at his canteen, and the man nodded eagerly. John, take security. I'm figuring this out. Dallas slung his rifle and waved his canteen at the man, who tilted his head lower while pointing at the bottom half of the container. Dallas slid off the canteen-shaped metal cup. When he waved it around, the refugee became animated. What, you've never seen a metal cup before? Asked Dallas. Cup, he repeated, raising it to the panicked man, who began repeating his phrase. The tot, cup the tot, cup the tot. I've never heard of this saying, to cup the tot, said John. Can't say I have either, said Dallas. It almost sounds foreign to me, added John. Dallas frowned before his eyes went wide as the realization came to fruition. Coup de tot? He blurted. The defector cheered and Dallas flashed a brief smile. Oh shit, a coup? What was that, Dallas? Asked the commander as the patrol arrived. Sir, I think this man is warning us about a coup. The commander glared a moment before motioning his team to grab the defector. That's peculiar. We'll take him in for questioning. Return to your post. This man's successful getaway may spark more runners tonight. Understood, sir, sighed Dallas. Dallas returned to post and wrote the incident in his tower's logbook. He signed, dated the log, and then resumed control of the malfunctioning surveillance equipment. So-young called Jun over and made several animated gestures. Does he see something out there? Asked Dallas. Jun nodded. Eastern Tower. Panning over, an armored gun truck and 3 personnel carriers approached the North Korean guard tower. That's weird. I've never seen a convoy at night. You? Jun shook his head. No, never. Convoys only run during the day. This is very abnormal. The radio squawked with the commander's voice. Zulu 4, explain how you arrived at your conclusion earlier. We've returned to base and are about to start the interrogation. Dallas explained his thought process. He mentioned the defector's game of Air Pictionary, the canteen cup, and a frantic repeated speech. Began the commander. Okay then, make sure you report the incident in the logbook. Already done, sir. Good. Charlie Sector has reported unusual troop movements in the area. Be alert along the DMZ. Report anything suspicious, Zulu 4. Over. Roger. Be advised we've got a small convoy at the northeastern towers sighted in our camera. They've just pulled up moments ago. Hold on, said the officer. We're pulling up your feed now. The monitor displayed several dozen soldiers dismounting their vehicles and hanging around with their rifles slung. Zulu 4, we're tracking your sector. Keep your system scanning. We'll orient our drone at your sector. Over and out. Dallas switched the second monitor to the drone feed. It displayed the same scene in greater detail thanks to its newer tech and capabilities. The radio crackled again with an announcement. All stations, this is JSA. Be advised, multiple sectors are reporting erratic troop movements across the DMZ. We are unsure if this is a night exercise. Still pending official statement from the Northern Command at this. A blast boomed in the transmission's background before cutting out. All stations be advised there has been an explosion at the North Korean main building at JSA. The Joint Security Area? Within seconds, the Northern Borders towers blared their alarms. Thunderous automatic fire erupted from the gun truck at the eastern tower. The drone's feed displayed the dismounted men assaulting the tower with small arms. They bounded, covering each other as they charged toward the reinforced doors. The defector was right. Chapter 3. Assault. They're attacking, said Jun. Dallas and Jun stood transfixed by the images on the monitor as So-young and Wagner observed the tracers ricochet in the dark 2 kilometers away. I gotta call this in. As Dallas reached for the handset, the radio squawked. All stations be advised. We're receiving multiple reports of small arms fire along the 38th parallel. Stand by for confirmation. This is happening. Green tracers danced across the darkness. Flashes from automatic weapons lit their immediate areas for fractions of a second. Silhouettes seemed to charge with superhuman speed thanks to the strobe effect from the gunfire. Dallas and his team scanned with their optics, or monitors, since their naked eyes couldn't see much. Sounds like World War III is kicking off over there, said Dallas. The radio chirped again. All stations be advised, the general alarm has been given. All towers stand by to be reinforced. This is not a drill. John's handheld went off in Korean, presumably announcing the same. A tracer ricocheted to the south and impacted some 50 feet in front of their tower. "Oh shit, they're shooting at us!" cried Wagner. "No, they aren't. That was a ricochet. Calm down. They're shooting at each other." Tracers danced and darted off their targets. The surprise attack caught the North's personnel off guard as they struggled to repel the enemy force. The North Korean tower had all of its armament aimed south, never expecting confrontation from its rear. They returned fire with their basic weapons at the charging force as several attackers took cover behind the armored truck. Several silhouettes raced across the open area leading up to the checkpoint. On the ground, someone rapid-fired a half-dozen grenades at the tower. 2 guards abandoned the vehicle's checkpoint shack and ran towards the main tower. One fell from the incoming fire. The other stumbled some 10 feet from the tower before getting inside. Several men closed the doors and Dallas zoomed the camera to its maximum. Looking through a small window, the border guards barricaded themselves with furniture and crates. The sirens were loud, even from 2 kilometers away. Several ports within the 3-story tower opened fire on the dismounted troops. The radio queued up. "All stations, this is JSA. Be advised that pro-Hajun forces are behind the explosion and attacks along the DMZ. We're getting reports of troops storming the media outlets in the North Korean capital, unable to reach the North Korean command." "Hajun?" asked Dallas. "Isn't that the general who spoke out?" "That's him," chimed Jun. "I figured he would have been assassinated by now." Dallas scowled. "Well, obviously that didn't happen." Another tracer flew south, smashing into the ground several hundred feet in front of them. "These shots are getting closer, bro. They're fucking with us," said Wagner. "Are you blind? Look here." Dallas pointed to the left display. Black and white images fought as the 2 forces exchanged gunfire. The attacking men split off, letting the gun truck charge at the tower to ram the entrance open. The vehicle reversed as it pummeled the small buildings with its heavy gun. Pro-Hajun troops stormed the breached structure, their shots echoing like distant microwave popcorn. Soyoung waved Jun over to his optics. They talked briefly before Jun returned to Dallas at the controls. "He says there's movement at the western tower." Dallas frowned and panned the camera west a kilometer, struggling against the glitched controls the entire time. Several men stood outside, looking east to their sister tower. They took defensive positions around the vehicle checkpoint. Returning to the eastern tower, the battle intensified as the attacking forces cleared the first floor. Some carried the wounded out and rendered aid. The remaining men fought their way to the top. Another ricochet flew by. Its distinctive whip cut into the air above them. "That's it. They shoot again, I'm letting loose," said Wagner. Dallas stood up from the controls. "No, you won't. This isn't our fight. Stand down and step away from the gun. We aren't here to start a war." Wagner scoffed. "They're shooting at us. The rules say if we're fired upon, we can fire back." Dallas gestured at the camera controls with his hand in the shape of a knife. "Not a chance. Now take your trigger-happy ass over to the camera and chill out." Wagner stepped away from the machine gun and glared as he grabbed the controls. After 20 minutes of radio silence, the watch commander's voice came over the radio. "All Zulu stations, at 2337, a bomb went off the northeastern end of the North Koreans' main building at JSA. No official statement from the north yet. We're at DEFCON 3, which means 100% security at all times. QRF is on the way to reinforce the southern border. Keep the net free of useless chatter and stand by for further updates." Wagner groaned at the ceiling. "Fuck me, I can't get a break?" Dallas returned to the thermals alongside Jun and Soyoung. The firefight ramped up across the border as they watched the fighters take the tower's second floor after 15 minutes. "Bro, I gotta pee," said Wagner from behind. Dallas furrowed his brow. "What do you want me to do about it?" "Come on, take over so I can go piss outside." Dallas glared. "You heard the radio. We're on lockdown." He pointed at a nearby trash can. "You can piss in a bottle if it's that bad." Wagner stood up. "I'm not a fucking hobo, Dallas. Stop being such a yes man, bro." Dallas placed his hand over Wagner's shoulder, stopping him from leaving. "I don't know what's up your ass, but piss in a bottle for fuck's sake." "Bro, don't touch me. And stop talking to me like you're senior to me. We both joined at the same time. I am the senior here. Not my fault you've made awful decisions throughout your career." "I'll report you for harassment," threatened Wagner. "Go ahead. I'm sick of babysitting your ass." "What's that supposed to mean?" Dallas rolled his eyes at Wagner and turned around. Wagner's lip curled, then he let out a shriek as he attacked. Wagner wrapped his arms around Dallows and wrestled him to the ground, realizing too late that Dallows was 2 martial art levels ahead of him. When they hit the ground, their Korean brothers yelled at them to break it up. Dallows tucked his chin and pinched a nerve in Wagner's right arm, forcing him to let go. Dallows got to his feet first and reared back his dominant hand to swing at Wagner's chin when Jun stepped in between them. Dallows glared across at Wagner, who stared right back. Both men dropped their fists as Jun shoved them away to their respective spots. "Gentlemen, please, I ask you to set your differences aside and help me prepare a defense of my country." Dallows took a deep breath and apologized as he sat back at the camera controls. Wagner didn't say a word as he retreated to the machine gun. The commander's voice came through the radio a few minutes later. "All Zulu stations. JSA is reporting a battalion-sized force is headed south toward the North Korean main building at JSA. Satellite is tracking heavy armor spearheading the convoy." Holy shit. Dallows zoomed out from the tower to get a broader view further north, cursing at the control's delayed inputs. He felt relief when all he spotted were empty roads. Something flickered on the right monitor, drawing his attention to Zulu's drone feed. It displayed the Eastern Tower's men firing upon a runner who took advantage of the chaos and attempted to flee south. The runner fell just 100 meters from the north. He crawled a few more feet before a burst of gunfire from his countrymen finished him. Dallows focused back on the left monitor. The few loyalists who remained atop the 3rd floor were holding their own. The gun truck roared its heavy gun at the machine gun nest, suppressing its defenders, but seemed to have little effect. Zulu 4's monitor buzzed with static before losing signal. Zulu Main's drone feed disconnected while the other monitor continued to display the assault from his camera's viewpoint. Dallows fiddled with the controls, trying his best to recover the drone feed. Damn faulty equipment. The radio chirped with Zulu Main on the line. "Go for Zulu 4. Roger, be advised. Our drone is offline. We received a damage report before we lost the signal. We suspect it's been shot down in your sector. It is imperative we reclaim it before the north. Last signal ping shows it landed approximately 1 kilometer northeast of you. Sending you an 8-digit grid. Dispatch a snatcher team to retrieve it. Keep us updated." "You gotta be kidding me," said Dallows. Soyoung cried out as the east-west crossfire of tracers on the other side of the border exploded with renewed violence. Another wild burst of fire flew off-screen toward the south. An audible pop pierced the ears of Zulu's 4's guardsmen as the round struck their towers somewhere on the 2nd floor. Before Dallows could register the ricochet, Wagner's machine gun erupted with a roar.